Your morning is programming your mind before you're even fully awake. In the first 10 minutes, you either become stronger or you quietly become weaker. Most people don't have a morning routine. They have a morning reflex, open eyes, grab phone, scroll, compare, complain, and only then they remember they have a life to live. 2,000 years ago, a Roman emperor woke up very differently. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "At dawn, when you have trouble getting out of bed, remember you have been made to do the work of a human being." He wasn't talking about emails. He was talking about the work on your soul. In this video, we're not going to talk about perfect millionaire habits. We're going to talk about 5 stoic things you should do every single morning to stop living on autopilot and start waking up like your time actually matters. So, before we dive in, take one slow breath with me. In for 4, out for 6. Because after today, those first 10 minutes you usually throw away might become the most powerful minutes of your entire life. Stay with me by the end of this video. You won't see your mornings the same way again. Part 1. Wake up like an emperor. Remember you're going to die. Take a slow breath and let it settle. Most people don't lose their day in the afternoon. They lose it within the first 10 minutes after they wake up. They open their eyes and the first thing they touch isn't their mind, it's their phone. Notifications, noise, and other people's lives rush in before their own thoughts even have a chance to breathe. But 2,000 years ago, an emperor woke up differently. Marcus Aurelius opened his eyes inside a cold military tent surrounded by mud soldiers, uncertainty, and war. And yet, even in that harsh environment, he kept one sentence close to his heart. You could leave life right now. Let that determine what you do say and think. This wasn't fear, it was clarity. It was Memento Mori. Pause with me, take a breath, whisper softly. I may not get another morning like this. Good, let's continue. Marcus didn't meditate on death to feel afraid. He did it to feel awake fully, fiercely awake to the gift of a new sunrise. You and I live in a different world, but we wake up to our own battles, stress expectations, financial pressure, responsibilities that sit on our chest before our feet even hit the ground. That's why the Stoics said the day is won or lost in the first moments of consciousness, and this is where your new morning begins. Tomorrow, before you touch your phone, before you scroll, before your mind reverts to autopilot, do something Marcus would recognize. Sit up, put your feet on the floor, take one slow, intentional breath, then ask yourself the most powerful question of your morning. What if this were my last sunrise? Not to scare yourself, but to strip away everything that doesn't matter. According to Harvard research, the average mind spends 47% of its time wandering, chasing regrets of yesterday or anxieties of tomorrow. No wonder we live tired. But Memento Mori snaps you back into your life. It's like shaking a snow globe. All the swirling chaos slowly settles into clarity. Marcus wrote, "Do every act of your life as though it were your last." Imagine applying that not to your whole life, but simply to the first 30 seconds of your morning. Your emotions shift. Your priorities sharpen. Your anxiety softens. Your breath steadies. Take another slow inhale and exhale. Say it quietly. This morning matters. Beautiful. Your mind is tuning in. Now, right after you ask the last sunrise question, go deeper with 3 Stoic gratitude prompts, simple but scientifically powerful. First, think of one person you're grateful is still alive. Someone whose existence makes your world less lonely. Second, think of one ability you still have to see, to hear, to walk, to think. Millions lose those abilities every year. And third, identify one opportunity today gives you. A chance to grow, to act, to repair, to build, to contribute. Neuroscientists at UC Berkeley found that gratitude can reduce cortisol by up to 28% and increase dopamine, the neurochemical of motivation. Marcus didn't know the biology, but he understood the transformation. Picture him waking up the cold, the heaviness, the weight of decisions that affected millions, yet choosing his first thought with intention. If this were my last day, how do I want to show up? Now imagine you tomorrow morning. The same silence, the same breath, the same question. Different world, same opportunity. That's the beauty of Stoicism. You don't need an empire to live like an emperor. You just need awareness. Whisper this with me. I choose awareness before distraction. Good. Feel how the mind steadies when you speak with intention. Now let's deepen the why. Your brain is wired with a negativity bias, constantly scanning for threats. But when you acknowledge death calmly and willingly, you take back control. As Seneca wrote, he who has learned how to die has unlearned how to be a slave. And you stop being a slave to notifications, comparison pressure, or the invisible noise that steals your mornings. So here is your entire Stoic morning practice in 30 seconds. Sit up, no phone. Put your feet on the ground. Take one breath. Ask the last sunrise question, then answer the 3 gratitude prompts. That's it. 30 seconds that reset your amygdala, rebalance your nervous system, lift your emotional baseline, and sharpen your clarity. Because when you remember that time is finite, you stop treating your morning like trash. Say it with me. My time is limited, and that is my power. Now let me give you a modern example. A long-term study of 1,500 high performers, CEOs, creators, world-class athletes, found that 92% of them begin their day with a mindful practice, not with their phone. Why? Because the first mental input you absorb in the morning creates the dominant emotion for the next 5 hours. Stress creates more stress, but clarity creates more clarity. Marcus Aurelius discovered this centuries before neuroscience ever caught up. He woke up and spoke to his soul, not to the world, and now so will you. If you practice this one habit, awareness, before distraction, gratitude, before noise, perspective, before panic, you won't just wake up better, you'll live better. So tomorrow morning, try it. Sit, breathe, remember death, choose gratitude, and watch how your entire day rises with you like a tide lifting a ship. But this is only the foundation. Because once your mind wakes up like an emperor, the next step becomes essential. The Stoics didn't wake up and let their thoughts drift. They captured them, refined them, trained them. Marcus Aurelius didn't write his thoughts to impress others. He wrote them to confront himself. And now you'll learn to do the same. In the next part, we're going to build a 3-line Stoic journal, simple, brutally honest, and powerful enough to reshape the way you think. Stay with me. Your new morning has only just begun. Part 2, write like Marcus. The 3-line morning journal. Take a slow breath with me and let your mind settle. Because the moment you finish waking up like a Stoic emperor, the next step is to think like one. Marcus Aurelius didn't start his day by grabbing a phone or reacting to noise. He started it by facing himself on the page. Not beautifully, not poetically, not for an audience. Just truth written in the quiet before the world could interrupt him. Imagine this for a moment. A Roman emperor surrounded by chaos, politics, war, betrayal, expectations from millions, yet every morning, before he led armies or made decisions that shaped history, he wrote, not to be wise, but to become wise. And what he wrote eventually became one of the greatest books in human history, Meditations. But Marcus never meant for anyone to read it. He was simply writing to the one person he could not lie to himself. Pause with me. Take a breath. Say softly, I face myself first. Good. Let the noise fall away. Now let me tell you why this matters for you. Modern neuroscience shows that writing down your thoughts reduces emotional reactivity by up to 35%, increases clarity, and boosts prefrontal cortex activity, the part of the brain responsible for decision-making. In other words, the moment you put your mind on paper, the mind stops dragging you around. That's why your second Stoic morning habit is simple and brutally effective. A 3-line journal, the same mental training Marcus used to command his emotions. You don't need a beautiful notebook. You don't need long essays. You only need 3 honest lines. And honesty is the key word, writing with the same raw truth Marcus had when he whispered to himself, get up. You were not made for comfort. Tomorrow morning, after your Memento Mori moment, open your journal and ask the first question, what am I tempted by today? Name it. Is it laziness, scrolling anger? Avoidance, distraction, dressed as productivity? When you name a temptation, you strip it of its power. Marcus wrote, when you are tempted, remind yourself this is just an impression. In modern psychology, this is called cognitive diffusion, separating yourself from your impulses. Take a breath, reset. Let that settle. Your second line is even more powerful. Who do I want to be today? Not what you want to do that comes later. I'm asking, who are you choosing to show up as? Do you want to be patient, brave, disciplined, clear-headed, resilient, honest, strong? Marcus often wrote reminders to his future self. You will meet people who are meddling, ungrateful, arrogant, deceitful, and yet you will not be harmed because you choose to retain the virtues that guide your mind. Virtue was his armor. Your second line becomes yours. And now the third line, the one that grounds your identity into action. What is one Stoic action I will take today? Just one. A difficult conversation. A moment of patience when anger rises. A disciplined choice when your comfort begs you to stop. A phone left in the other room. A promise kept. A step taken. One action is enough because one action builds momentum, and momentum builds character. Let me show you an example to make this real. Imagine your journal tomorrow. Line 1, am tempted by distraction, frustration, and procrastination. Line 2, I want to be calm, courageous, and focused. Line 3, today I will finish one task without checking my phone. That is Stoicism applied in the real world. Simple, honest, effective. Now breathe, reset. Say it softly, I direct my mind. Here's something interesting. Studies show that when you write an intention by hand, your brain increases goal completion likelihood by 42% because handwriting activates deeper neural circuits than typing. Marcus didn't know the number, but he knew the effect. That's why journaling works. You are no longer a passenger, you are the commander of your inner world. Let me paint you a picture. Imagine Marcus in his tent, cold air on his skin, the distant sound of soldiers preparing for battle, the weight of leadership pressing on his shoulders. He opens his journal, dips his stylus, and writes a few simple trembling lines. They weren't perfect, they weren't poetic, but they sharpened his mind like a blade. Now imagine you in the quiet of your morning. Different worlds, same mind. Different battles, same inner war. Different tools, same courage. And when you journal, you join a 2,000-year-old lineage, Seneca, writing letters to Lucilius Epictetus, challenging his students, Marcus wrestling with his own thoughts. You become part of something ancient and powerful, the art of preparing the mind before the day begins. Take a breath with me again. Inhale, exhale, and whisper, I choose to meet myself before the world. Now here's your Stoic journal method for tomorrow morning, all in one flow. Sit down. Write 3 simple truths. Your temptation, your intention, your action. 30 seconds. 3 lines. But they will change the quality of your decisions, your behavior, your tone, your resilience, your day, and eventually your entire life. Because this is the hidden Stoic secret. When you write honestly, you stop lying to yourself. And when you stop lying to yourself, you stop living below your potential. Now let me give you a personal challenge, a Stoic micro-practice. Tomorrow, write the 3 lines, then fold the page. Carry it in your pocket. Midday, take 10 seconds to read it again. This tiny act reinforces your identity and keeps you aligned no matter what chaos hits you. All right, take another breath. Reset your mind. Say softly, I command my thoughts. And now comes the big shift. Because once you wake like an emperor and write like a philosopher, there is something even more powerful waiting for you. Stoics didn't just set goals, they set virtues. Goals change your schedule. Virtues change your life. And that is exactly where we're heading next. In part 3, we'll build something Marcus believed was more important than achievement itself. Your inner code, your morning virtues, your personal compass. The thing that keeps you steady no matter what the day throws at you. Stay with me. Your transformation is only beginning. Part 3, set virtues, not just goals. Take a slow breath and let your mind soften a little. Because now that you've awakened like an emperor and written like a philosopher, we enter the part of your morning that Marcus Aurelius believed mattered more than achievements, plans, or productivity. This is where you choose who you will be before the world chooses for you. Your character, your virtues, your inner code. This is the Stoic difference, the thing that separated Marcus from the powerful men around him. Most people ask, what do I need to do today? But Marcus asked, how will I behave today? That question made him unshakable. Imagine him again, the emperor sitting at the edge of his cot armor, half-buckled officers waiting outside his tent with scrolls full of problems. Yet he starts not with strategy, but with the qualities of the man he wants to be. Patience, courage, temperance, justice. These weren't decorations, they were survival. He knew a man without virtues is like a ship without a compass, moving fast but often toward disaster. Pause with me. Take a breath. Say softly, who I am comes before what I do. Good. Let's keep going. In the modern world, it's easy to confuse busyness with meaning. We chase goals, notifications, deadlines, numbers, metrics. But goals are about results, and results can be ruined by emotion, fear, ego, or distraction. Virtues, however, shape the quality behind every action you take. They turn chaos into clarity. Let me tell you a hard truth. Without virtues, goals collapse under pressure. With virtues, even failure becomes training. That's why your third Stoic morning habit is to set your virtues, your internal settings, like a warrior sharpening his blade before battle. Not dozens, not complicated ones, just 3. But they must be chosen with intention. Take a breath, reset, let the noise fall away. Now imagine tomorrow morning, your journal is open. You've written your temptations and your identity for the day, and now you write 3 simple lines, each one a virtue. Wisdom, courage, temperance, justice. These are the 4 core Stoic virtues, but each morning you choose the ones your soul needs most. Wisdom means I will pause before I react. Courage means I will do the hard thing, even if I'm scared. Temperance means I will stop when enough is enough. Justice means I will be fair and honorable, even when no one is watching. Marcus wrote something brilliant. If it is not right, do not do it. If it is not true, do not say it. That sentence alone could silence half the chaos in most people's lives. Now let's translate virtues into something real, because I want this to transform your actual morning, not just sound beautiful. Imagine you're tempted to snap at someone today. Wisdom becomes your shield. Imagine you're avoiding a conversation you know you need to have. Courage becomes your sword. Imagine you're slipping back into old habits of overindulgence or distraction. Temperance becomes your anchor. Imagine someone treats you unfairly or irritates you. Justice becomes your steady hand. Virtues make you unshakable because they prepare your character, not just your schedule. Take a breath. Inhale, exhale. Say it with me. Virtue guides my morning. Let's go deeper. There's fascinating research on this. Psychologists found that people who anchor their day around values, not tasks, experience a 23% increase in emotional stability and significantly higher resilience when stress hits. Why? Because when your identity is solid, your decisions become easier. Obstacles become training. Difficult people become teachers. Delays become practice in patience. Suddenly, the world stops feeling like an attack and becomes a dojo. This was Marcus' superpower. He didn't control his circumstances, he controlled how he met them. You can do the same. Picture this. A person wakes up and says, I need to finish 12 tasks today. When one thing goes wrong, they panic. Another person wakes up and says, I will practice patience, courage, and discipline today. Suddenly, the tasks become irrelevant because the person they are becoming is stronger than the chaos they face. And listen carefully. When you set virtues, you don't just plan your day, you predict your behavior. And that is power. Take a slow breath again. Let your shoulders relax. Whisper, I choose who I am. Now let me guide you through a simple exercise, one Marcus himself would approve of. Tomorrow morning after your 3-line journal, sit for 10 seconds and repeat your virtues quietly. 3 words. That's all. Let them sink into your nervous system. Let them become your lens, the way you see yourself. Neuroscience calls this identity priming. When you name the virtues you want to embody, the brain begins filtering your behavior to match them. Your day becomes aligned, not accidental. Imagine the next 12 hours of your life shaped by 3 words you choose instead of emotions you don't. Tomorrow could look like this. A stressful conversation arrives. You remember wisdom. A challenge scares you. Courage. Your impulses rise. Temperance. Someone irritates you. Justice. Suddenly your behavior becomes intentional. And intentional behavior is the foundation of freedom. Take another breath. We're not done yet. Say softly, virtue before victory. Now here's the most important part, and the thing most people miss. Virtues don't make you perfect. They make you prepared. You won't always live up to the best version of yourself. Marcus didn't either. That's why he wrote reminders again and again, sometimes repeating the same lesson because he failed the day before. And that's okay. Stoicism isn't about perfection, it's about returning to your principles each morning with humility. As Seneca said, we are always beginners. That means every sunrise is a reset button. Before we close part 3, let me connect this to something even bigger. Because once you choose who you will be, the Stoics believed you must train those virtues the way an athlete trains their muscles. Which brings us to the next essential habit of a Stoic morning, something that separates the disciplined from the fragile. In part 4, we'll go into one of the most powerful practices of all training discomfort before life forces it on you. Marcus called this voluntary hardship not to suffer, but to build strength. And if you master this step, you become nearly impossible to break. Stay with me. Your transformation is accelerating. Part 4, train. Discomfort before life does it for you. Take a slow breath with me and let it settle deep in your chest. Because now that you've awakened like an emperor and written like Marcus and set your virtues like a warrior, it's time for the part of the Stoic morning that separates the strong from the fragile. The ancient Stoics believed something most people today try to avoid at all costs, that comfort is sweet, but it makes you weak. And discomfort is bitter, but it makes you unbreakable. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "It is not that we are given a short life, but that we waste much of it. And nothing wastes more potential than a life built around avoiding anything hard." But here's the secret the Stoics understood. If you do not choose small discomforts voluntarily, life will deliver bigger discomforts involuntarily. Pause with me. Take a breath. Say it softly. I choose strength before comfort. Good. Let's continue. Imagine Marcus again, waking up in the cold, surrounded by soldiers, sharpening swords, frost on the ground, breath turning to mist. There were no warm beds, no soft blankets, no perfect mornings. Yet Marcus remained calm, powerful, steady, not because his circumstances were easy, but because he trained his mind to endure. Now think about you. Life will test you with unexpected news, financial shocks, relationship friction, emotional storms, health scares, moments of fear or sudden change. These things come without warning, and they hit hardest when the mind has not trained for difficulty. That's why your fourth Stoic morning habit is to practice one voluntary discomfort, a small challenge every morning. Not to punish yourself, not to be extreme, but to whisper to your mind, I can endure more than I think. Let's take a breath. Reset. Let the idea settle. You only need one deliberate challenge, one small moment where you step into controlled difficulty. It could be a 30-second cold shower, just long enough to feel your breath catch and your mind resist. It could be 10 slow push-ups, even if you're tired, even if your muscles tremble. It could be leaving your phone in another room for the first hour of your morning, the modern version of Spartan discipline. It could even be sitting in silence for 5 minutes with no music, no scrolling, no stimulation, just you and your thoughts. These discomforts are small, but they rewire your nervous system. Here's what science says: when you do something voluntarily difficult, your brain releases norepinephrine, the neurochemical of alertness, focus, and toughness. It raises your baseline resilience. That means later, when life throws sudden difficulty at you, your mind is already conditioned to stay steady. This is why soldiers train under stress, why athletes push themselves, why ancient warriors practiced hardship, and why the Stoics love voluntary difficulty. They were preparing for unpredictable storms long before the first cloud appeared. Take a breath. Inhale deeply. Exhale slowly. Say it quietly. If I can endure this by choice, I can endure more without choice. Let that sink in, because this is the heart of Stoic resilience. Let me give you an example, something real. Research from the University of Michigan found that people who practice small daily hardships develop higher stress tolerance, lower anxiety, and faster emotional recovery when life becomes chaotic. Voluntary difficulty makes involuntary difficulty less overwhelming. Marcus knew this long before science measured it. There's a myth that Stoics seek suffering. That's wrong. Stoicism is not about rejecting comfort, it's about refusing to be controlled by it. Imagine the typical modern morning: warm bed, warm shower, warm coffee, warm routine. Everything designed to eliminate friction. But the moment something stressful appears, a message, a setback, an interruption, the mind collapses. Why? Because it never trained. Now imagine the Stoic morning. One small challenge, one chosen difficulty, one moment of resistance. You build a mind that does not panic when life knocks. Take another breath. Reset your focus. Here's how your voluntary hardship could look tomorrow. You finish your 3-line journal. You set your virtues. Then you stand up and walk to the shower. The water turns cold. Your mind screams stop, but you breathe in calmly. You endure 30 seconds. You step out not just awake, but alive. Or maybe your hardship is simple. You leave your phone outside your room and the silence feels uncomfortable. Your fingers twitch. Your mind wants stimulation, but you sit with it. And in that discomfort, your mind becomes stronger than your impulses. Now imagine how the rest of your day changes. Someone speaks to you harshly, but you've already practiced restraint. A stressful task appears, but you've already strengthened your tolerance. An unexpected challenge hits, but you've already trained your breath. You're no longer reactive. You're responsive. And that changes everything. Seneca said difficulties strengthen the mind as labor does the body. That's not philosophy, that's biology. So tomorrow morning, pick one small hardship. Not the biggest, not the hardest. Just one. Give your mind the gift of strength, because every time you choose discomfort in the morning, life has fewer ways to break you later. Let's take one more slow breath. Inhale. Exhale. Say it gently, I am not fragile. And now comes the part of the Stoic morning that ties everything together, the practice that turns gratitude journaling virtues and voluntary hardship into a complete transformation. Before you step into the world, the Stoics believed you must stand still, not physically but spiritually. You must look at the day ahead with acceptance, openness, even love. In part 5, we enter one of the most beautiful Stoic concepts of all, amor fati, learning to love whatever the day brings. It is the final step of the Stoic morning and the one that can make your entire life feel lighter, calmer, and more powerful. Stay with me. Your transformation is reaching its peak. Part 5. Practice stillness and amor fati, love the day ahead. Take a gentle breath and let it move slowly through you. Because after everything you've built this morning, awareness, honesty, virtue, resilience, there is one final step the Stoics believed was essential before stepping into the day. It is the quietest but also the most powerful. The practice of stillness, acceptance, and amor fati, the art of loving whatever fate brings. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way." This wasn't poetic, it was survival. As emperor, he faced betrayal, illness, lost, war, and pressures no human should ever endure. Yet every morning he paused not to escape the day, but to welcome it. Imagine him standing by the opening of his military tent, the cold air brushing his face, the sky still dim, soldiers beginning to stir, and Marcus simply watching, breathing, letting the day reveal itself, not rushing, not resisting, not fearing, just accepting. That was his strength. He did not fight reality. He cooperated with it. Pause with me now. Take a slow inhale and whisper softly, "Whatever comes, I will meet it as a Stoic." Good. Let's continue. Stillness is not the absence of movement, it's the absence of turmoil. It is the quiet inside you that remains untouched while the world shakes around you. When you practice stillness each morning, you're not trying to control the day. You're preparing the one who will live it. Here's what I want you to do tomorrow. Before you dive into tasks, step to a window or doorway. Look at the light, the sky, the rain, the trees, the buildings, whatever is there. Take one slow breath and say, "Let today be what it will be." This is amor fati, not just accepting fate, but loving it. Loving the raw material life hands you even when it's not what you expected. Because the truth is this, you don't know what today will bring. It could be beautiful. It could be difficult. It could test your patience. It could stretch your strength. It could surprise you, challenge you, or reward you. But amor fati turns every possibility into something useful. If today is easy, you practice gratitude. If today is hard, you practice resilience. If today is confusing, you practice clarity. If today is slow, you practice presence. Everything becomes training. Everything becomes fuel. Take a breath, reset. Let the idea settle. Marcus wrote, "A blazing fire makes flame and brightness out of everything thrown into it." That's amor fati. The fire does not choose what it receives. It simply transforms it. And so can you. When someone interrupts you today, that's training. When a plan fails, that's training. When something frustrates you, training. When you feel tired, training. Not punishment, not misfortune, just training. Say this with me: nothing is against me. Everything helps me. Now let's bring in some science, because this isn't just philosophy, it's psychology. Studies from Stanford show that people who adopt a mindset of challenge acceptance have significantly higher resilience, lower stress hormones, and faster emotional recovery when unexpected events occur. This is the modern version of amor fati, responding to life with openness rather than resistance. Imagine how your entire day changes when you stop saying, "Why is this happening to me?" and start saying, "How can this help me?" Suddenly, nothing derails you. Nothing steals your power. You become agile, adaptive, calm like water, shaping itself to the moment. Take another breath. Inhale gently, exhale slowly. Whisper, "I accept. I adapt. I transform." Now picture yourself tomorrow morning just after your voluntary hardship. You step to the window. You watch the light rise. The world is quiet. And you say, "Whatever this day brings, I will meet it with virtue, strength, and grace." In that single sentence, you are stronger than 99% of people rushing into the day with panic or distraction. Your mind becomes a calm temple. Your heart becomes steady. Your presence becomes powerful. This is the Stoic way of starting a day, not in fear, but in acceptance. Not in tension, but in readiness. Not in resistance, but in love. Let's breathe again. Reset your mind. Say softly, "Amor fati." Beautiful. Now let me tell you something. Marcus understood deeply. The goal of the Stoic morning is not to control life, it's to prepare yourself so well that nothing life does can unbalance you. And now you built all 5 pieces of the morning armor. Memento Mori, wake like an emperor. 3-line journal, write like a philosopher. Virtues guide your character. Voluntary hardship strengthen your mind. Stillness and amor. Fati anchor your soul. But we're not finished, not yet. Because a Stoic morning is also about choosing the direction of your life, not just the mindset. At the end of this video, you're going to be invited to take responsibility for the next chapter of your growth. Before we end, take this final breath with me. Inhale, exhale, and whisper. My day begins with strength, intention, and acceptance. Now let's close this journey together. If you practice these 5 habits every morning: 6, remember death and choose gratitude. 7, journal with brutal honesty. 8, set virtues, not just goals. 9, train small discomforts. 10, sit in the stillness and love your fate. You won't just have a better morning. You will slowly become a different person. Marcus Aurelius was not born wise. He trained himself one dawn, one thought, one choice at a time. So here's my question for you. Tomorrow morning, which one of these will you start with? Pick one. Commit to it. Then stack the rest. And before you go, if this video gave you clarity or strength today, don't just click away. Subscribe to Making Life Better to keep building your Stoic mind one morning at a time. Share this with someone whose mornings are killing them slowly. And tell me in the comments, what time is it, where you're watching from, and which city are you in right now? I read every single comment. Your new morning starts tomorrow.